Cheek barrel time. Not normally my thing, but you gotta see this. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. This week is a look at a really pretty little rifle. Oh, and spoiler alert, I quite like this, and the beautiful stock is making this a real winner in my eyes. Let's take a closer look, shall we? This is the gas power system Cometa Fenix 400 USC. It is 1035mm long, which is around 40 3/4 inches, and tips the scales at 3.2 kilograms or a little over 7 pounds. The barrel is rather short, but is cold hammer forged, which should hopefully spell accuracy. But we will naturally test that out a little later on. From the front, this has a permanent fixed silencer to that short rifle barrel, which makes cocking this easier and yet still keeps this quite a short carbine. The most of the length being in the stock itself. This barrel assembly flows back to a squared off breech and then down to the main body, which, as you would expect, sports a dovetail rail system. And then, right at the end, it comes to the auto pop-out safety that is simply operated by your thumb. And of course, this shape means it can easily be shot in both thumbs up and thumbs down position. The two-stage trigger is adjustable for pressure and distance, and to be fair, it is pretty good straight out of the box. It's quite a short second stage, but you're not hanging around for it to suddenly happen, as is often the case in some lower price rifles. The trigger guard is polymer rather than metal, but to be fair, there's nothing wrong with that. Then of course we come to that stock. Wow. How nice is that? A black pepper coloured stock that feels beautifully finished off with stippling to the forestock and grip in a rather nice pattern. There is a non-laminate version available, and indeed there may be a polymer based version too, but it would be rude not to have the laminate finish. The cheek of the stock has a cheek riser, and the natural pattern of the laminate flows through into that adjustable cheek riser. The rear is finished off with a rubberized butt pad, which is quite firm, but a nice finishing touch nonetheless. That cheek riser is adjustable via the Allen key that is supplied in the box, and it's simply a case of slackening off the screws, adjusting to your preferred position and then retightening. This has got to help when trying to get the best eye to scope point. Cocking this is pretty easy, and it does feel very solid when closing via that ball locking system. Naturally, I have the 177 caliber version here, and it's time to get this over the chronograph to find out what the power level is on this particular one. Now, whilst I don't suppose this is likely to find itself out in the field pest controlling, it's still worth trying a couple of weights of pellets to see if there is much difference. So, using the pretty standard 8.44 grain pellets, it saw 782 feet per second, which is 11.46 foot-pounds or 15.54 joules. Time then to get out that tin of heavier pellets to explore that difference, if indeed there is one. So, using 10.34 grain pellets, it saw 703 feet per second, which is 11.35 foot-pounds or 15.39 joules. All very respectable figures. With that information, it's time to get this out on the range. Firstly, I'm going to need to get some glass on top to give me a fighting chance. So I'm going to fit a Hugo scope, which is more on the budget end, but nonetheless a very good scope. Here we go then, out on the range at 40 metres. The Cometa, Spanish. It's a nice almost Spanish day today. This particular one is the Fenix 400 USC, which has got to be one up from a USB, I suppose, I don't know. This is a beautiful, I'd say black pepper. I'm probably treading on somebody's toes there, and if I am BSA, I do apologise, but It's that style of colouring of laminate stock, and it is really very, very good. Adjustable cheek riser, and the thing is, it actually follows the grain as well, which is really, really nice. It is a brake barrel, gas powered as they call it. It's really nicely built, to be fair, and we're here with, and all I put on it is a Hugo scope, which is not an expensive scope. I'm sort of trying to do it in keeping with more of a budget line. I mean, I know this isn't rock bottom budget, and it certainly isn't in the build and the look and the feel, it certainly isn't. But I'm just trying to keep it real, as it were. So we've got a Hugo scope on it, on the top, which is really very nice. And we're out at 40 meters, which is quite a stretch for me with a brake barrel, but we'll give it a go. I must admit, I have sort of zeroed it in. I've not gone crazy because it's the grouping that I'm interested in, not my ability to blow the centre out of the bull, which I really don't think I'm going to do today. It's quite a short barrel, which means it is capable then of putting a silencer on the end without stretching it out to make it too long. So you could use it for a bit of pest control as well, because it's not too loud, to be fair. As always with these things, most of the noise seems to come from the mechanism as opposed to what's going out the end of the barrel. Anyway, there you go. We've done the talk around and the walk around, so let's just give it a go, shall we? As usual, bit of a brake on it. And all I'm doing, I'm putting some QYS pellets in, because this is a 177. Now I'm using the streamlined, they're a little bit heavier, so I'm sort of between the two figures that we've just done. Why? I don't know, I just feel as though that's a good starting point. Automatic safety, so we'll push that one off to start with. And I say, down at 40 meters, let's give it a go with me, my failing eyes, and a brake barrel. I won't say a Springer, but a brake barrel. Now, the trigger is really not that bad at all, and it is adjustable. It's adjustable for like pull and weight on it, so you should be able to get yourself quite a comfortable position. And of course, this is a cold hammer forged barrel. It's not a BSA one, it's the principle that we're talking about, and that's what Cometa use, and they're made in-house. It's quite a distance and quite a stretch with me. What's the wind doing? It's not too bad, I can feel it. It's certainly breezing. And yes, it's getting up, which is what it felt like. But we'll carry on, we'll push through. That's not a bad one. I must admit, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I genuinely mean it. I'm not a Springer come brake barrel type shooter. I am more of a PCP shooter. So you've got to take into consideration my inability with these. And if you're, excuse me, if you're a Springer shooter, then you should do way better than me. Quite enjoyable, to be fair. They do challenge you, they do get you wanting to get better and better on them, they really do. So don't get me wrong, I do get it, I do understand where people are coming from with these. Breeze again. The trigger is quite a nice first pull, it's not too bad, it's defined, you know it's there. I would probably, of choice, I certainly wouldn't make it any longer, but I would probably lighten the second stage just a little. But it's not bad at all. We'll give it another go. it's coming together. I know a lot of people will probably have a go at me about my technique and everything else, and that's absolutely fine. Please, if you feel that way, leave the comments. Tell me how I should be doing it, because I say I'm not really a break barrel type shooter. But what I would say is, if you're having a go at me because I'm not perhaps doing it right, then it just means it's just going to get better and better. Let's go and get that target. I won't shoot any more. I could, because I'm actually quite enjoying it. Let me go and get the target. We'll see how it's done and see how embarrassed I should be, shall we? Breeze is coming again. You know what? I'm not too upset about that. Genuinely, I'm not too upset about that. That is pretty good. It's, I don't know, 10 pence piece size. There's one that's gone off here. My thumb would just about cover it. I don't think that's bad at all. Again, it's the first time I picked it up. I maybe fired 5 rounds to try and zero it something like, and the rest you've just seen, and that is genuine, the first thing. The only other shooting it's done, I perhaps shot half a dozen or so over the chronograph, because initially it was dieseling, as you would expect, and then it settled itself down. I just wanted to make sure it had settled itself down to find out what the power levels were. Now, the power levels coming out of this are more than enough for this sort of thing, and they're still enough for a bit of pest control, to be fair, because this gun with the silencer on board is fairly quiet. So yeah, you could use it for a spot of pest control. That's just going to blow away. It just shows you what the wind is like. And it's coming again. So yes, you could use it for a bit of pest control. It is a bit of a range queen in its current dress, attire, whatever you want to say. The fact that it's got a laminate, which is beautiful. I know I keep going on about it, but you can get it in just the normal wood as well, which does work out a little bit cheaper. But to my mind, for that difference, now I'd take the laminate all day long. So it is a nice gun. Bit of a surprise, and to be honest, I know they've been around for a long time, but that's the first time I've shot a Cometa, and I'm pretty impressed. With that, and the breeze getting back up, back to the studio. I know I've said it so many times that I'm not really a break barrel shooter, but I always enjoy my time with them. I probably don't use anywhere near as many pellets in a session, which I suppose makes them a little more economical. And of course, there is the usual comment that you don't need anything else to provide you with the air required, other than a little bit of elbow work. And of course, yes, they are more challenging, which for target work is great. But for pest control, well, you're going to need to practice before going out to keep the bunny numbers down. That said, I was really pleased with the results. This is a really nice looking carbine, and I must say it feels very well made and very solid. That trigger is pretty good, and it will look every bit the part down at the range or just at home in the back garden. It is very comfortable to use, and it's great fun. So what is this beautifully Spanish made rifle going to cost you? Well, there are lots of different models in the range, and this is pretty much the top of the Fenix range and is around £435 UK, which is not out of the way price-wise for a beautifully finished off gun such as this. It is really very nice and looks far more expensive than it is. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the Cometa Fenix 400 USC. If so, please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, feel free to share and hit the alarm notification bell. Check out the AAR On Air website at aaronair.com for merch, news and of course those terrific competitions. A big thank you to Vector Air for getting hold of this for me to review for all of you, and thank you for their help as always. Of course, the biggest thanks without a doubt goes to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. That is pretty.